There we are.
So I'm going to chat with Kaye, who's the community lead for the Power BI product team, and that's coming up next. So, Kelly, thank you so much for, first of all, inviting us to your home here in, I guess we're officially in Bellevue, but Redmond.
Officially. We're across the street from Redmond.
Right. We're across the street from the Red West campus,
Exactly.
the Microsoft campus.
Exactly.
And it's a beautiful August day. It rained this morning.
Yep.
On my interview with Matthew, but it's beautiful
I
right
know,
now.
it is beautiful actually.
Yeah.
It is. It's a bit windy, which is a kind of nice cool change. I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in your role as the community lead?
It's going on about 3 years now. Yeah.
All right.
It took a while to get to the team, but it was something I've always wanted. So, yeah.
Well, and it's been fantastic interacting with you and working with you over those 3 years.
Likewise.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, I think that the one thing that we've talked about with a number of leaders and colleagues that is so well recognized is that Microsoft is all about community.
Absolutely.
And that's genuine. It's real. I think community means slightly different things to different people.
Yeah.
So, what does community mean to you?
Community means a lot of things. For me, I don't know if many people know, I always tell them, if you want to know kind of who I am and what I came from, it's my big fat Greek wedding is exactly,
Right.
literally my life. Literally, it's...
And it is.
And it is. It's a true story.
Yeah.
It's a true story. So my family's like that. So, you know, we didn't come from a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of opportunity. And so we relied on community for a lot of things. So, you know, if you were having a party, it was usually a potluck because everyone was always working full time.
Yeah.
So it was always that people were always helping. You know, if you wanted to, you know, fix your car, you'd call a couple of mates, they'd be over. You know, my dad would call a couple of mates, they'd be over with their wives and their kids. Mm-hmm. If you'd have a barbecue, you would just tell people, hey, bring whoever you want. And it was just that whole gathering.
So how does that family-based community ethic apply to the professional community that you lead now?
It's really, really interesting. I love community because I'm always, and I shouldn't say amazed, because it's not for money, it's not for fame, it's not for anything else. It's just they purely have this need to help somebody, you know, and they do it because they care.
Yeah.
And that's just a beautiful thing, you know. This is one of the rare places at Microsoft that I can be my authentic self. You know, who I am at Microsoft is who I am at home. There's no change.
I can't imagine you being anything other than yourself, Kelly. You're so loud and energetic, and just everything is just, you're always on.
Yeah, and I truly enjoy life. You know, I think that's kind of part of it. But I'm just fortunate to work at Microsoft where they actually value that. Right? There's no pretense. It's not like I'm going into, you know, a really stuffy organisation kind of thing. It's a great organisation. We have great management. We have great peers, you know, in the Power Platform. I mean, it's just that environment. And we do listen. And that's what I love about it. So, you know, it's that gathering of people. It's helping each other. I love to do that. I love to give away stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
I can tell. You know, so I've taken part and participated in a lot of events where you've either facilitated or hosted or announced or emceed or whatever. And I recall the MVP Summit, and of course a lot of people who are not involved in the MVP Summit. But one of the things I remember about this last MVP Summit, which was completely virtual, you were hosting all of the Power BI related events. They all started early, on time. They were punctual. You always had upbeat music playing.
Yeah.
And then you would start out, even the legal statements and the disclaimers at the beginning, you would read with this radio voice and just this projection that just, it really set the stage for a very successful and very energetic event. And I appreciate that.
Well, like, we want to give back, right?
Yeah.
And so we just try and make it fun. And it's, you know, having the music beforehand on the on a Teams meeting came about because, I'd connect to a Teams meeting and it'd be silent and no one would
Right.
say anything.
So as members of this community, what do you think our responsibility is to the next generation of, people who are in places where they haven't had access to technology and opportunities, and those groups that haven't been recognized in the past or have struggled?
What's our responsibility? Number one,
Yeah.
teach them, get them the information any way we can. I think with this new what is it called? Starlink.
Oh, Starlink, yeah.
I think that's-
Elon Musk's project.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that might just help people be connected.
Yeah.
And look, there are pros and cons, don't get me wrong, because, with connection comes the good and the bad as well.
Sure.
So I think it's our responsibility to, number one, teach as much as possible. Get the word out there. Ask our MVPs to maybe say, hey, if you came from a background that didn't have that exposure to that, go back, contact the people that you know. Find somebody who's willing to teach others. And if every single person did that, would be great. And that's kind of one of the initiatives that, we tried to do with Power BI Women. And it's kind of like community and diversity. And with Power BI Women, we're really lucky because we've got women all over the planet who have helped others. I know, Miko Yuk, who's an absolute champion. She's just phenomenal. I mean, she's just the gold standard. Because, women have been negatively affected during COVID, I think exponentially, because typically, they're the caregivers. And so as we talk about MVPs and community, bringing that all together, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your role is. It's find somebody who wants to learn something and teach them.
We can look at other platforms, other vendors, other products, communities or at least groups that surround, these other things, and don't see the diversity that we see here. Now, that's not to say that it's all done.
Oh, when you're done, though, I have to say that.
So-
I mean, warts and all, I'm going to
Yeah.
say it. But yeah, we've got a long way to go. But we've got the support to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But do you think we have the momentum to continue to support that message of inclusion and diversity?
That's a great question. I'm certainly very passionate. So if it was up to me, we'd be doing 100 times more things, but we don't have that many staff. But that's why we rely on the community.
Yeah.
And so the community, I think, has been through, as everyone, over the last 18 months a lot. And you've noticed that during summertime, people aren't connected as much, right?
Sure.
Because
We're trying to get away.
they're trying to get away, right? Maybe like you with your RV, right? Trying to kind of see the world, and people are thinking differently about their jobs. And so I think the momentum probably slowed down for the last couple of months as we're taking a breather and kind of reevaluating what's the next phase going to look like, and bringing that whole community picture together. But we've certainly done our planning for the next year, and we've got some beautiful things coming. And
I've heard.
I think the momentum is going to be fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Power BI product and platform a little bit. Here's a tool that you can use to make sense out of your business and move it forward. And I think that with great leaders like Arun and with James Phillips and Amir at the helm, that vision, I think, is being realized. And now we've got this fantastic product that does both. It's enterprise and it's self-service. What's next for Power BI?
Absolutely. So we want to build stuff that people want and to empower people and to make it easier. You shouldn't have to go to IT to ask for a dashboard. You should be able to build it yourself. And so the developers are developing software, a UI that allows people to, without a lot of technical expertise or no technical expertise, to be able to do that. And that's just, it's phenomenal. It's just amazing.
What's amazing to me is that, sometimes IT does need to be involved.
Yes.
And there does need
Yes.
to be,
Yes.
a cadence of data governance and
Yes.
security. All those things are important. And so it's not just about self-service. Maybe it's about self-service along with governance. And so, IT, the data governance committee, there are processes that need to be in place. And Microsoft has a platform that offers, a secure cloud.
Absolutely.
And, enterprise scale, data management over lakes and other modern technologies.
Yeah.
And Power BI can be part of that story as well.
Of course.
So it's not just that it's a self-service tool.
And we just released the ability for our labels to be transferred. So you go and publish something to the service, and you still have those labels, those data labels that follow the data set, follow the report, etc. So you don't have to continually go in and reclassify your data. We're the only product that does that. So
Right.
there are so many good things that Microsoft does, and it really helps people manage their organization. You don't have to have hire a person who's saying, "Oh, is this the right thing? Is this the right thing? Is this the right?" You don't have to do that because the product does it for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important for the classification of data right now. It's a big deal with GDPR, how so many countries change the classification of data. There's so many rules. People can't keep up, and it's important to have a product that keeps up with those.
Security and
Yep.
and lineage tracking and governance are more important than they've ever been. So it's not
Absolutely.
just about giving everybody what they ask for. It's
Exactly.
about making it secure and adhering to industry standards.
Yeah, and sometimes people ask for something and they actually don't want the whole barn, as they say. Is it the whole barn or is the whole farm? They just want to know about one or two things that matter to them, and so they should be able to hone into those as well. And we shouldn't have to release everything to everyone. So it's.
So Kelly, I've watched you work very hard over the years. Your energy is amazing, and I have definitely benefited from that. Your leadership and your inspiration. You work hard. How do you balance that? What do you do to get away from it?
Well, Frank's actually just over here behind the camera, and he's
We'll
smiling now.
We'll do a cutaway shot of Frank.
He sees. I think he always knew I worked a lot, and the pandemic kind of gave him a real idea of what that means. And people say, "Oh, what about work-life balance?" It's really a choice. I have to say this. This is the secret. The secret is when you join Microsoft, you actually want to work there all the time. And so when they say you don't have a work-life balance, it's well because I want to be able to do this. This is so good. I'm going to go do this.
It's funny,
Do you know what I mean?
People will, yes, I do, and people will joke and they'll say, "Oh, you're going to work for Microsoft. You sell your soul, and that's not what I've seen. I'm close to a lot of people at Microsoft and have been for a very long time, and you all love what you do.
I know.
And it's not because you're slaves to the
not.
evil empire. You just love what you do.
We do love what we do. We have a management style there that allows managers to help you get there. And he would say, "You don't have to, CC me on every interview and whatever." I'm like, "But you're mentoring me." And he really he really helped me. And so did Ali, my other manager there, after Russell. They both kind of steered me to say, "Hey, this job is okay, but this job would be better." So working with your manager to plan your career is something that is great. Now, I'm not saying that every manager is the same or anything like that, but I've been very fortunate where I'm open and honest and I say, "This is what I want to do in a few years. Can you help me get there?"
Yeah.
And being able to take that feedback and planning with your manager, really helps you do what you love every day. And we're not selling our souls.
Yeah.
We're doing what we love, and it's just, it's hard not to be,
Not to be excited about that.
I know.
So, and just a side note that I would add, I've never worn a blue badge at Microsoft. I've had the opportunity to apply for positions that I probably would have had if I would have chosen to do that. But having worn an orange badge at Microsoft a few times, working
Me
as
too.
a vendor, yes,
Done both, yeah.
that's very inclusive of the culture of Microsoft.
Yeah.
As a vendor, as a partner, as an MVP, playing these other roles where I'm not necessarily a Microsoft employee, really felt like I was part of the process.
You are.
Part of the family.
You are.
Yeah.
And that's how we want to keep it. I mean, there's not, it doesn't go like that. We're not like that.
Yeah.
And I know people say I work too much and whatever, but I just love what I do. And if I didn't love what I do, I wouldn't work here. I just wouldn't. I mean, I'd find another job.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. I'm not a drone. I'm not. What is it? The Borg? What do they say? Resistance.
Yes,
is futile.
yeah. Resistance
is futile. It's not a.
Remember when they
Right?
when they spoofed somebody spoofed Bill Gates' face way back in the day when that was the thing, and it was just a joke.
Yeah.
It wasn't at all true.
And I love the transformation that the company's made. You know, I loved it when Bill Gates came to Australia to visit us when I was working in the Australian sub. And it was great, there's like 100 people there, and there he is. It's fantastic. And, transforming, through Steve's era, and now what I think is the best
Satya.
part is Satya. It's unbelievable. I think we've got a lot of work to do, but I think we have the leadership to do it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. Kelly, thank you so much for taking your time and sharing with me today. This has been fantastic.
Oh, thank you.